Atlanta CAU was the first HBCU in the Southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bake Show, and I'm Jamal Bake, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAW in, of, and about our community.
This is Alliance Weekend.
This is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of this. This is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of the Source of Inkwell Live on KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom. This broadcast is being taken over by RMS Radio. Raytown Middle School is a middle school in the Raytown School District that has a broadcast club. The broadcast club has been going on for about 5 seasons now. And this particular club allows students to give the news from their vantage point, from their lens. So what you're seeing right now this evening is a group of students who come together weekly to produce bi-weekly shows from their lens, from a student's point of view. So you can check out this broadcast on a number of ways. You can hit us up on KUAW.org. You can go to the TuneIn app and type in KUAW. You can go to Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, type in KUAW Radio. You can also go to your Amazon or your Google Echo and say, hey, play KUAW, and it will play us. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please email us at KUAW985, at gmail.com, or you can call us at 816-599-6893. Excuse me. So I would like to introduce our panel today. And I want to start with Ms. Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela.
All right, and then to her immediate right, Haley.
I'm Haley.
And then, of course, our new rising star at the bottom there, Miss Alexandria, aka Lexi.
Hi, my name is Lexi.
All right, so. Well, we didn't give you a broadcast the week of the horrible ice storm because we want everyone to be safe and also to save the energy piece too as well. So we're going to make it up for you today. We have a great broadcast lined out for you. We sat down and we talked about a few things. And this past month, or I'm sorry, 2 days ago was February. February has been known as Black History Month. Now, it originally started out by Mr. Carter G. Woodson, and it was originally called Negro History Week, and then it became Black History Month. So February, the shortest month of the year, most likely the coldest month of the year, is set aside for Black History Month to celebrate and observe it. Now, we sat and had a couple of discussions and conversations, and first off, children. Well, we're going to pretend that I am a 12-year-old kid like you. Let's go around, and I want you to kind of talk about the first thing that comes to mind when you hear Black history. Who are some of the individuals that they talk about every Black History Month? Haley, go ahead.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King Jr. Yep. Every month, every Black History Month. Yep. Michaela.
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. And Lexi.
Malcolm.
Okay, see now you're lucky because in my elementary school we barely touched on Malcolm. So you must have gotten a more accomplished curriculum. Now, the first point that comes to mind, of course, is Malcolm and Miss Rosa. But when I was a kid, I always would always hear about Harriet Tubman and Harriet Tubman. So why do you think they tell us about the same people every month? And same people every month. Go ahead, Haley.
Maybe because it's been like happening for so long that at this point, like most people don't know any other things. So that's just, they continue to teach that because there's no other people or no other things that come to mind and they don't really want to do the research on it.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, no research. Okay. Anybody else?
I think maybe because they just they don't really know of anybody else. I really just don't want to teach it.
Okay. Michaela? You don't know?
And maybe also because they did the most public things.
Okay. The most public thing. Okay, I like that. The most public things. Okay. Michaela, were you gonna say anything?
No, I really don't know why they always talk about them.
Yeah, because I mean, it's very. I mean, there's so many different ways. I mean, I think maybe the individuals that we said are probably the safer choices. I mean, they're more acceptable in certain curriculum or whatnot. But personally, I know Alexander, you have me in class. You have me in class for, let's see, I would say since the first day of school, and then you, I guess, got switched back to my class recently, and it was kind of like you was back home. So now, Lexi, you actually kind of heard me teach in regards to Black history. As a student, do you like hearing about new things about Black history?
Yeah, I like hearing new things. I don't like hearing the same people. It doesn't feel good.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like they are the only individuals that did something for the culture. Right. Okay. Yeah. So what we did was we sat as a group and we talked. And one thing I will say about Broadcast Club is these young ladies and the gentlemen that we have in the group, they do their research. And we proposed a question and said, let's talk about some little known Black history facts. Now on Facebook, I did a little experiment. I threw out name a Black history fact that you didn't learn in school, and it like lit up multiple groups, my live thread and everything. And I said, well, you know what? Let me kind of spin this around and throw it to my students. So we talked about this in Broadcast Club, and I asked the students to give us Black history facts that they learned on their own and not in school. And what I got some good stuff from these students. So I want them to go through, and I mean, I printed off the list, and I know Michaela and Haley, you opened up the Google Classroom. You should be looking at your comment right now. Lexi, if you can do the same thing. And also I have the other students' stuff too, so I can read off of that also. I want to have like a nice, healthy discussion because, you know, it's one thing for the teacher to teach students, but it's a beautiful thing for students to teach the adults, because education is a two-way street. And right now, what you all are about to view is you're going to see RMS Radio educate you on little known Black history facts. Okay, so the first one on top of my list, Lexi, you were the first one to get yours turned in, so we'll go with you first. You can go ahead and I think you kind of got yours turned up. So read your first one, and then we'll kind of talk about it.
Me personally, I always thought Rosa Parks was the first person who had refused to give up her seat, and actually I found out it was a 15-year-old girl who actually did it first. But you know, they never teach you that in school. They never told me that. I never found out until I did something.
Mm-hmm. And do you know the young lady's name?
I don't know how to pronounce her.
Okay. Does anyone? I think. Yeah, her name was Claudette Colvin. Yeah. So she predated Rosa Parks. Good. Okay. All right. What else do you have on your list, Alexandra? On your number two.
Annie Malone was the first Black woman to become a millionaire with the success of her hot comb.
Okay. And do you know what Annie Malone also went by?
No.
Okay. It's gonna trip you out. I know you heard it before. Now she's another character. I'm sorry, another Black history person that we hear a lot about too. And I'm sure when I say her name, you'll know who we're talking about. Oops, I got her mixed up. Yeah, she was also known. She was the mentor for Madam C.J. Walker. See, let's see it. And Madam C.J. Walker was also a philanthropist as well, and she was a self-made millionaire also. So yeah, she was her mentor. See, you learned something while you was learning. That's cool. Okay, and now right now, I'm kind of glad that Lexi, you are hitting on women because March is Women's History Month as well too. So not only are we educating each other on Black history, we're also educating each other on women's history as well too. And then of course your your last fact.
Phyllis Wellfley was the first black woman author to publish a book of poetry.
Yes, Phyllis Wheatley. Yep, poetry. Right. And I'm a big poetry fan. So yes, of course, Phyllis Wheatley was the first Black published woman, and she had a book of poetry. So all women facts. I like that. That's cool. So thank you for sharing your facts. We're going to go on down to, I have Miss Haley Jacoby.
With the first thing that Lexi was talking about with Claudette being the first person, I also learned about that outside of school. I actually learned about it from TikTok during Black History Month from a lot of other people, and I was thinking, I was like, I don't know why they don't teach this kind of stuff in school. Like, this kind of stuff should be taught instead of just the normal stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that was my first fact.
Okay. Yeah, so y'all kind of have the same fact. Yeah.
But also there's the first woman representative. Yeah, she was the first African American woman elected in the House of Representatives.
Okay, you got a little lag on your end, Haley. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing with Zoom. Okay, Haley, I think you got a little lag going on your end. So see if you can move around to another spot and see.
Can't pronounce her name, but
oh, I got you.
And she's the first African American woman into the House of Representatives.
Okay. Little Wi-Fi. Gotcha. Okay, so now I heard you talking about the House of Representatives. So you made a good point with that too. I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying about the House of Representatives while your Wi-Fi reconnects. One thing that I learned. Wait a minute, are you there? Okay, yeah, you're fixed. Yeah, okay, yeah, it fixed. So go ahead and repeat what you said about the House of Representatives. I think because you're moving now, so I'm assuming that your Wi-Fi's.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
The first Black woman to be voted, I think probably not the right word, but to be put into the House of Representatives was someone named Shirley
Chisholm.
Shirley
Chisholm.
But yeah, that was one of them.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Shirley Chisholm.
Even though, yeah.
Okay, that was a good one because Shirley Chisholm was
And
the first Black woman.
no,
Oh,
it's more recent. So I guess I mean it's touched on with stuff.
okay.
And
I think
then
now. Okay.
obviously, I mean, even though we're now recently starting to learn about it, wasn't always like Obama.
Okay. So now, while you were kind of going in and out, what I heard from your end was to kind of reiterate, because I heard you said that Shirley Chisholm, yes, she was the first Black woman to be elected to the United States House of Representatives. And also, Shirley Chisholm did run for, I want to say, Vice President of the United States, if memory serves me correct. I'm sorry. I take that back. She tried to run for President of the United States. So she was like, one of the first Black candidates to run for President of the United States. So she got elected into the House, into the United States Congress out of New York City. New York State. And that was back like, back in the 60s, I think 1969. And then in 1972, she attempted to run for President of the United States of America. So, yeah, that was a big deal. And I think you said something about Obama too, Barack Obama. Did you mention? No, you didn't? Okay. No. Okay. Well, no, that was a good one because you're starting to see more women in politics now too. And of course, you're starting to see more women of color in politics as well also. I mean, if you look at, the mayor of Atlanta, you got also Miss Abrams, who was very influential down there in Georgia trying to run for governor, but she didn't make it. However, she did turn the tide in the election. Excuse me. Okay. Let me go down to Miss Michaela.
Okay, so the first one I got, you guys know what Black History Month was originally called, and then the second fact I had was, if I say her name wrong, I'm sorry. Josephine Baker was a spy.
You said it right.
World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the fact. And then the other one I found was, and if I say her name wrong too, my bad. Dorothy Dandridge.
You said it right. Yes.
Was the first African American to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress.
I just learned something from you as well. Now, Josephine Baker, I did know that she was an activist, and she was very revolutionary in her art. But I did not know that she was a spy for the French during World War II. That makes a lot of sense because she did move to France because she was fed up with the racism over in the United States. I did not know that she served in like that in that capacity in the armed services. And then of course, yes, Dorothy Dandridge was the first African American nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. Yes. So, and we all know that the Academy Awards, when that comes out, I mean, how many times have you seen a Black man or a Black woman win an award for something that was a real prolific piece of work that was not stereotypical? So, and also think about that too. How many Black people have you seen win Academy Awards? I remember someone made a comment. They said, well, if there are certain categories that they look at, but I don't know. I mean, I know for a while I didn't really watch the Academy Awards because a lot of good movies, they didn't get them. So some very, very, very prominent food for thought. I'm going to go back and read some comments from the other members. I got two. Let's see. Well, of course, we talked about Black History Month was originally called Negro History Week. It was started by Carter G. Woodson, and it was created back in 1926, but it wasn't recognized until 1976. So wow, that's a long time. And before Black History Month, people of color wasn't really recognized for anything that they did. So all those wonderful things that we're talking about, it wasn't really, discussed. Let's see, we have another student. She says, how police are treating Black people unfairly, how Black people are still being treated, and how Black people can still be harassed just because of their race. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not teaching that in school either. I mean, let's think about that. I mean, it's very rare you hear people talk to you in school in regards to an activism standpoint. Now, I want to thank you all for those facts, and I kind of want to segue into something else too. One thing I do want to say is at Raytown Middle School, the cultures of the students in the building is discussed and educated all year round. I am a very, very huge fan of our history department because they do an amazing job with discussing and sharing the history that needs to be taught, as well as our language arts department too, because they kind of works in sync and hand in hand in regards to discussing these things. Also, we're pretty culturally conscious school too, because we do things monthly for students to feel more of a part of in the building. So I definitely tip my hat to Raytown Middle School. Now, also in Raytown Middle School, the Broadcast Club is sponsoring an essay contest. And our essay contest is entitled, Is Black History American History? Now, I want to ask you ladies that question. Do you think Black history should be considered or incorporated with American history? Or should it stay separate? I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. Who wants to tackle this question first? And go ahead.
I think Black history is Black history. I don't think it's American history. Just because what Black people go through and everything like that, I don't consider that everybody's history.
Okay, I mean, it's an opinion. All right. That's one thing I do like about you, Lexi. I mean, you give your opinion and you stand on it with respect. I like that. Okay. Anybody else? I mean, should Black history be incorporated with American history, or should it stay separate? Okay. Go ahead, Michaela.
I think it should stay separate.
Okay. And why do you think it should stay separate?
Okay, I think that because so, okay, give me 1 second.
Okay, yes, think about it. It'll come to you. Haley, what do you think? I think she's frozen on the screen. Okay, her Wi-Fi. Okay, so Haley, as soon as your Wi-Fi thaws out, we'll throw the question on you. Or if you want, you can chat your answer to me and I can read it out loud. So, I mean, you can just send your answer in the chat and I can read it out until your lag thaws you out. So the question is, should Black history be a part of American history? Now, if you can go ahead and answer that, and then I can read it for you. Now, I'm going to say what I think, and I mean, it wouldn't be a day if Lexi and I don't disagree on something. So, I personally think that it should be incorporated in American history too, because despite what we see and what we endure, I mean, the accomplishments and the struggles and the output that African Americans put into this country needs to be well known throughout everybody. Like, for example, the history that we're talking about, everyone needs to know that, not just one small group of people. are not just one sect. I mean, I think the greatness of all should be shared. Also, I sat and I thought about it too, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, we're seeing um, a Native American History Month, Asian American History Month, LGBTQ history awareness month, Black History Month. Personally, I mean, in my opinion, I think having all these separate months, I mean, yeah, it's cool to kind of highlight celebrations and stuff, but my thing is, don't just pick that one month to showcase and honor someone's culture or someone's beliefs or whatnot. Make them feel incorporated all year round. Because, I mean, last time I checked, I'm important every day of the year, not just one month. Women are important every day of the year, not just one month. You know, Hispanic Americans are important every day of the year, not just one, month. So that's just my opinion. I mean, I think it shouldn't stop. But I mean, but I do respect what everyone's saying because it does make sense. Haley said yes and no. I think the Black history is a part of American history. It should be a part of American history, but not all Black history is American history. Gotcha. I think, yeah, you're saying the same thing the other young ladies are saying too. Yeah. I mean, some things are, some things are that particular culture's history. Right. So now, as you can see, and I hope some students are listening from Raytown Middle School, if you are listening to what we just got through saying, we pretty much help you write your essay. Now, and this goes along with my RMS staff too. You all can do this also. The winner of the essay contest will get a gift card. Well, we started off at 25, but I think we might add some more money to it. And Michaela's like, okay, he said money. And then also, you get to read your essay live on the air on KUAW radio. So you get exposure. So think about that. And I hope some of my RMS staff is gonna do this also. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, it's for every student. So last year we had I'd say about 20, 25 applicants. And it was a dogfight, but we had a good essay win. So yeah, but this year you get a gift card and you get to read your essay live on the air. So that's cool. Go ahead, Michaela.
Who was the winner last year?
I was hoping somebody didn't ask me because I didn't. I mean, I have it in one of my emails. Matter of fact, I can go look at my email right now and pull it up while y'all discussing the next question, so we can kind of give them that credit too, because they did win right when Thanos snapped and made COVID-19 appear. So, I have another question for you also too. Now, we're talking about Black History Month, right? Now, I made the comment of Black History Month being taught all year round. Should Black History Month and celebrations of other cultures be taught all year round or just on this specific month? And then Haley, if you're still lagging, you can chat me your answer and I can read your answer on the air. Go ahead, Michaela.
I say all year round because it's just as important as any other history we'll be learning.
Okay.
I'll also say all year round.
All year round? And why do you say all year round also?
For the same reasons as Michaela.
Okay. Yeah. So we won't just sit up here and just just think that it's only one thing. I mean, it shouldn't stop. I mean, we should just keep it going. Let's see. Because I mean, it's kind of like your mom or your dad saying, okay, you know what, I'm done loving you for this week. So maybe next year, next year. So yeah, I got you. And the email is gone with that winner. So I have to go and dig a little bit further to find that winner for the Black History essay from last year. Okay. Let's see, Haley, what do you think? Should it be taught all year round? People's culture should be taught all year round or just on their designated month? You can go ahead and chat me your answer, and I will read it out loud for you. Yes. Now, and also, I mean, it's cool to like see how you can incorporate different cultures and different curriculum because, I mean, like before this whole thing got so discriminatory, I mean, it was very common to see people of different cultures, different races, different religions, all living in harmony and hanging out. I mean, when I lived over in Spain, I was over in Cordoba, and I walked over, and they said, yeah, they said over here there was a king, and the king answered to a sultan, and he was called, his nickname was the Wise because he made wise moves. And I said, okay, so I'm walking through the little through the city, and he said, I want you, the tour guide said, I want you to look at where you are. He said, right here is where all the Christians live and work. I said, okay. And right here is where all the Muslims live and work. And right here is where all the Jewish people live and work. And he said, and where you're standing right now in the center of town is where everyone comes in and congregates. I'm like, whoa. I mean, that like messed me up. They said, cool. They said, yeah, so, okay. Haley just said she's going to leave out and rejoin. So we can get her back in. So when I saw that, it really showed me, how this world really was before we all got introduced to this discrimination. I mean, like for 800 years, you saw people of African descent sit in leadership positions in the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal. I mean, you saw that. I mean, you saw Romans come down and be educated in Alexandria. And matter of fact, did you all know that Cleopatra and Julius Caesar had a child together? And Cleopatra gave birth to a child that was in line to rule the Roman Empire. So, we didn't know that. So, I mean, you had these two massive empires join together and produce a child that could have, if the child played it right, could have ruled most of the world. I mean, it's an amazing thing. So, I mean, I think when you do that and you incorporate those things, you see a lot of beauty. Okay, now I think you all might like this one because it'll give you some opportunity to talk, and both of you are very opinionated when it comes to people doing the wrong thing. There was a school district in Utah. They gave students the opportunity to opt out of learning Black history. Uh-oh. Michaela's face was like, And Lexi, she getting ready. So, should students be allowed to opt out of learning about other cultures? So picture it, we're in class, and I'm talking about a specific culture that's different than a student's culture. Can that kid say, I want to opt out? Go ahead, jump in.
I don't think they should because it's just as important as any other history. So why should they be able to opt out on that certain history? It's just like really stupid to me.
Okay, yeah, I would have to agree. Okay, Lexi.
I think this could be a yes and no. If the kid is really just gonna sit there and do nothing and just like stare at you, I mean, sure, opt out all you want to. I think, but you're missing.
Oh, you muted yourself. Lexi, you hit the mute button right when you was talking.
I finished.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought you were still talking. Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I remember in one class we had some students say some things, and I think a student should only opt out. And I agree with what you were saying, Lexi, if that student is going to just mess up and just start stuff, because we see that. We see kids that are people in general that just go just to start things. I mean, they want to just start an uproar. I think opting out of learning about another person's culture, I don't think that should be an option, because it's like having someone opting out of stuff that you need. I mean, we need to learn about each other. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think the more and more you learn about somebody, the more and more you see, okay, we're not that different. We're very similar. I mean, like I found out that there's people or teachers in the school building right now that I thought was extremely different, but we grew up in the same values, and that made us a little bit closer. So I personally feel that I agree that opting out shouldn't be an option unless somebody's going to, cut up. I remember I had a teacher who was Greek, and she always taught us Greek mythology, and she was going to take us to the Nelson Art Gallery to look at some of the statues. And there was a student in class who always laughed and made comments about the statues. We all know the statues aren't fully clothed as we would like them to be. And the kid was making jokes and comments. And the teacher said, well, look, I don't want you to go to the art gallery because you will embarrass us by your behavior. And she had the student, opt out and not go. So I think that's the only reason why a kid should be allowed to opt out if their behavior is tripping or if it'll mess with the educational flow of things. Mr. Walker, did Haley join back in? Okay, let's get her back in. All right. Party and a party without Haley. Yeah, she's coming in now. There she is. Okay, all right. And ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman that you see on your screen is Mr. Uh, uh, Mr. Louis George Walker. He is the owner and the proprietor and the chairman of the board of KUAW Radio. So thank you for doing this for us and allowing these babies to come on and do this here. Haley, are you with us? Oh, she's still on mute? Haley? I think her camera is trying to come on. Okay. Okay. Do we have any comments from people that are watching on YouTube or on Facebook? Let's see if we got anybody to. Okay. It's kind of cool how Mr. Walker disappearing inside the KUAW in the background. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Well, he's invisible. So while Mr. Walker's trying to find those comments, and while we're trying to get Haley to reconnect, um, what advice do you have for a student or an adult who wants to learn more about, Black history, but it's not being taught or it's not available where they are?
I'll probably say try to do some research, ask people who you know who may be associated with that.
Okay, yeah, do research, yeah, and ask people. I like that. There she is. Go ahead, Michaela.
Yeah, I agree. Like researching like the facts that I said today, I didn't know any of that, and I just on Google, and that's when I found it.
Okay, so just do your research. All right. Let's see, I'm checking on Haley's connection right now. Okay, wait a minute, did she bump back out? Okay, there you are. Okay, cool. All right, Haley. Okay. All right. And Haley, we asked the question, if someone is wanting to know more about Black history and the material is not present for them, what do you suggest they do in order to learn the material that they want? I think her connection. Okay. Internet still unstable. It's okay. Go ahead and just send chat me your answer and I can read it for you. No, it's no worries. That's the good thing about Zoom. You got this little chat thing right here, and you can just throw out what you want me to say, and I can go ahead and say it. Yeah, so don't worry about it. I mean, internet's internet. It's everyone's on it. So I would definitely agree with what two of you said. You said that definitely do your own research and also talk to people who might be an expert on it. Ask a question. Say, hey, I'm just curious. Do you know about whatever? Have that healthy conversation, that discussion. So I think Haley is still preparing something for us. And then, so as soon as she sends it, but you moving around, I see you moving around on our end, so maybe your connection might be a little bit better. You want to try it out? Yeah, go ahead and try to unmute your mic and see if you can answer. Oh, she froze again. That's all right. Okay. Well, send me chat me your answer and I'll read it for you. Okay. Now, okay. Oh yeah, I already asked the question. If someone is wanting to learn more about Black history, but it's not accessible where they are, what advice can you give them to learn the material that they want to learn? And Michaela and Alexandria both said do research, and Alexandria had mentioned that the person can ask someone who's probably an expert in the material to kind of share some things with them. So I mean, what do you suggest in regards to helping someone to educate themselves on some material that's not being taught in school? Because every school doesn't do a good job, I will say, educating people about Black history. I know for a fact there was one school I worked in. I'm going to be honest. I said, what do you do for Black history in your school building? And they said, oh, we don't do that. We don't do that here. I'm like, whoa, you don't? They said, no, we don't do any celebrations or anything. And then I went to another school where I worked just years ago. The celebration that they had was more stereotypical instead of educational. And I definitely didn't like that. So Haley, if you have any advice on someone to give someone, who wants, okay, here we go. She said, I would suggest the same things, research and ask educated people about it. I like that. She said, ask educated people about that. And because, there are times where we get our information from sources that aren't too scholarly. So I'm glad you said from educated people. I like that. Are there any closing comments that any of you young ladies want to say in regards to this topic? I think you did a great job. Matter of fact, I think the whole crew did a great job in regards to getting information for us. Any closing comments? No? No? Okay. Well, I will remind the students of Raytown Middle School that we do have a Black History Essay Contest that's due on Friday. The topic of the essay is, should Black History Month be considered American history? It is 1 page long, or 500 to 1,000 words, whichever one you get to first. The winning submission will get a gift card with $25 or more, and you will have the opportunity to read your essay live on KUAW radio. So the reason why we're doing this broadcast, as well as in the month of March, we'll be focusing on women's history, is because when you look at a school, that school is a photo. And in that photo, it has a representation of every student in that building. If a student does not see themselves represented in that photo, that's when they start to react in a negative way. Children need to and want to be included. And the best way to include a child in your curriculum is to respect them enough to incorporate them and their culture for that connection. Because we all know people do, the best way to learn is to build that connective bridge or knowledge to transfer and cross both ways. Students need that. Teachers, if you are watching this, I encourage you to take a survey of the individuals in your classroom. Look at their cultures, look at their backgrounds, look at where they come from, look at where they want to go, look at who they want to aspire to be, and utilize that into your curriculum. I guarantee you will see positive results with behavior, with attendance, and most of all, with their academics. Because when it all comes down to it, we must educate our children holistically. And in that holistic education, we must include their culture. Now I'm going to go around and I'm going to let my young lady say goodbye to you all. We'll start with Haley.
Goodbye.
All right. And we'll go with Alexandria. And Michaela.
Bye.
All right, this is Tyrone Gathers Jr. and the staff of RMS Radio. We just took over your airways. Now we're going to give it back to Mr. Walker to do what he wants to do with it. The next show coming up next is the Lene Gray Show. Please check her show out as well, too. Good content. And please follow KUAW for more content like this. And you might find something else you might want to do. And also, KUAW is looking for more individuals to expand their repertoire of shows. So this is Tyrone Gathers Jr., your host of The Source of Inkwell, with RMS Radio taking it over. In the Inkwell, education overflows like ink. Let it stain permanent. I will see you next week. RMS Radio will see you in 2. Have a good evening.